a lot of fun. I'm glad you stuck around. You know, I just thought it was, here's what I thought, and so I told our guys, is that we're trying to build something special here. It all starts with the culture, and you know, tonight I saw us take a step in a positive direction. I told them it didn't start at halftime. It started January 6th when they came back after a disappointing season last year, and went to work with Coach Alosi in the off season. And every day since, I've just seen an attitude, a camaraderie, a sense of purpose, a brotherhood start to form. And we knew that this was not going to be an easy game, but we didn't know we were going to be on 28 points at halftime. And I was just so impressed by the way that they managed their emotions at halftime and then coming back in the second half. And I just saw a team that trusted each other, they had confidence in each other, they had a ton of poise. I saw a coaching staff that made great adjustments, and I saw players that embraced those adjustments, owned them. And when you do that, you're capable of doing things like we did tonight. You know, we're not going to let the euphoria of this big win overshadow all of the things that we need to fix. We have to be able to run the ball better than we did tonight. I thought we'd be able to run it better. We didn't run it well enough. We have to be able to stop the run. I thought we'd be able to stop the run better, but they got 2 for 133 yards in the first half out the gate, and that can't happen. So while we're excited about the win, we realize there's a lot of things that we have to improve on. So we're going to celebrate the win here for a little bit, and then we're going to watch the film. We're going to critique it hard. We're going to find ways to get better. We've got a short week, so we've got to get over this one and on to the next one quickly. But I'm really proud of those guys. I told them at halftime, I said, let's not look at the scoreboard. Let's just play football, one play at a time. And they did that, and it worked out. So we'll take it. Yes, sir. What's up?
What's up? Can you give me your assessment of Josh Rosen? I mean, first half it didn't seem like he was in sync with his receivers, but the second half he seemed to find the go-to guy.
I felt like in the first half we were. I didn't think as a team we were in an aggressive mindset, which was really surprising to me because we've practiced and demonstrated an aggressive mindset. And I don't mean in terms of play calling or trying to throw it down the field. I just felt like we were maybe just a little bit hesitant on both sides of the ball for some reason. And you could see that, you know, when you're not dropping back and just ripping it like Josh is capable of doing, it looks like it looked in the first half. You know, in the second half, we just played a little bit more, you know, on our toes, leaning into it. And you know, I think nowhere was it more evident than in Josh's play. You know, he just was ripping it. And he started to find Caleb. You know, Caleb is a sure-handed guy and he was making plays over the middle. And as he made plays, his confidence grew and our confidence grew, and it was nice to see.
Two things. Have you ever been involved in a momentum swing as wild as that? And then the other thing was the spike that Josh, the fake spike that Josh had. Was that a call thing, or did he improvise that?
No, that's something we practice. Yeah, it's something we practice. We practice it this week. We practice, you know, every week during the season. Jed called that. It was a tremendous call by Jed. His tremendous execution by, was that Darren, the DA that caught it? By
Jordan. It was Jordan.
Laz caught it, okay, by Jordan and Josh and everybody. It was something we practiced. Have I been involved in a game like this? You know, I've been involved in, I'm an old dude now. I've been involved in a lot of games, so I don't know if I have or not. I know tonight was, the outcome was a lot of fun. And it was fun to watch my team, our team, this team, that team grow up throughout that game.
Jim, as the third quarter went on, was there a series, or was it making them kick field goals up 2 times, or was anything in there that kind of gave you hope and gave the team hope that there was going to be something at the end of all this?
Yeah, we started to bow up on defense. You know, we didn't practice, in the last 2 weeks, we haven't practiced one single snap of what we call our base defense, which is 4 down, 3 linebackers, 4 DBs, because they're a 3 and 4 wide receiver team. But you know, to his credit, Kenny was ready to go. So at halftime, we put our base defense back in. Without a single snap of practice in base defense, Kenny went in there and did a heck of a job. You know, I think Tom and Scotty and Meat just gathering up, and Angus and making that adjustment helped us on defense. So once we felt like we were controlling it on defense and our protection improved, you know, like we actually started, you know, Josh started ripping it in there. You just felt like things were happening. But on the sidelines, there was no Debbie Downers, you know, there's no hangdog looks. There was a great energy, and they believed in each other. And like I said, I told them, don't look at the scoreboard. Let's just go play football, and we'll see what happens.
Jim Kirk Sandoval, ABC. You tell them not to look at the scoreboard, but you're down 44 to 10 in the third quarter. Was there a play, or was there a time when you went from don't look at the scoreboard to we got a chance to win this thing?
Well, I never feel like we don't have a chance to win it. You know, my internal scoreboard, I'm not built that way. I don't know, quit, you know, and our guys don't quit. But no, I mean, it was really not until we were within 13, you know, really. And it felt like we really did have a legitimate shot to win it. That we started looking up a little bit, but not too much. You know, you just got to keep playing, and that's what our guys did, and I commend them for that. I mean, to me, they just showed. Look at, it's one game, okay? It's one game. All right, it's one game, but there's a lot of great lessons to be learned there. A lot of great lessons to be learned.
Coach, right here. We've heard about the freshman Phillips, and he showed what he was all about today. Talk about that.
What was most impressive to me about both Jalen and Darnay, who were the two freshmen that started for us on defense and played the entire game, well, Jalen got subbed out, was not necessarily, you know, I can't gauge their performance. I mean, I know Jalen, he got beat to the edge once or twice, and Darnay had the 15-yarder. I don't know what happened over there, but it was their demeanor during the game and their composure and their maturity. You don't see freshmen react the way they did very often in a big game atmosphere like that when you're way down, you know. And to me, that was the most impressive thing about those two guys. But we've seen it every day in practice. But I didn't know how they'd react in the game, and I was pleased with that.
Coach, do you think Josh Rosen spent too much time on his back? On the floor?
Do I what?
Do you think Josh Rosen spent too much time on the floor on the back? Getting hit?
Well, getting what? I think anytime a quarterback's on his back, it's not a good thing.
Coach, what happened with what changed with the pass protection? Was it they were
well, you know, pass protection is a function of a lot of things, as you know. I mean, I say this to you all the time. I mean, it's not just the five guys up front. It's the backs doing a great job. It's the receivers beating tough press coverage. They were on us pretty tight early, and we were having trouble getting separation. And then we started to find some things inside with Caleb. It's opened some things up outside. And it's Josh getting rid of it, you know. So it was just, we started to mesh, you know, the line and the back started to mesh. Caleb started to get open over the middle, which opened things up outside. We started to get open outside. Josh found a rhythm, you know. And sometimes when you give people a little bit on their heels, you know, you can find that rhythm that you're looking for. So, you know, you got to remember this was that first half, and I'm not excusing anything. That first half was our first half running this new offense, you know, and in a game against a team that's pretty darn good. That's a good football team. They're big, they're physical, they're an SEC team. They're gonna, you know, they're gonna compete for the championship in their division, I think. And you know, but we found our legs and we got going.
Jim, can you just talk more about Josh, just the resolve that he had in that second half, especially after getting hit so much in the first half?
Hits don't bother Josh. I mean, ever since he's been here, he's got there's no fear in him. You know, he's not afraid. He doesn't quiff. He doesn't blink when he's hit. He understands that as a quarterback, you're going to take some hits. You know, he's a tough young man. You see his body now. He's physical. He's big. He's strong. He's never a guy that's going to complain when he's getting hit. You know. I don't remember what your question was. Talk about Josh?
Yeah, just the resolve that he had.
Well, I mean, we've seen it. You know, I think a lot of the progress that Josh has made on and off the field, we've seen but was overshadowed by those statements that he made a few months ago that came to light in the Bleacher Report or whatever the website was a few weeks ago. What I've seen, what we've seen, what his teammates have seen is a young man that has matured tremendously, has become a great leader, has committed himself to being a great player in this offense, on this team, for this program, has done everything that has been asked of him and more, and has really stepped his not just his game up, but everything about him up. And it's really fun to see, you know. People hang too often on some of the negatives or some of the things he said in the past when he was an 18-year-old kid. He's becoming a man, you know, and he's starting to act like a man, and it's good to see.
Last question.
Coach, Soso Jamavo looked to see, saw an uptick in reps in the second half, saw some more reps, and that kind of coincided with the offense kind of sparking to life. What do you think of his performance?
I thought he made some key runs at some good times. You know, Sosa, when he gets the edge, he can, you know, he's kind of a glider that builds speed as he goes, and he can make some plays out there. I think that we've got a good group of backs that, you know, can give us different styles when we need them. You know, between Bolu, who's, you know, kind of a hammer, and had a little trouble. We had trouble getting him going tonight. You know, we had visions that we'd be able to run it better. Nate Starks, who's really a bulldog, to Soso, who's a glider out in space and a great pass catcher. But you know, we're going to each week try to find a guy that can be the spark man. You know, tonight I thought it was Soso, I thought it was Josh, I thought it was Darren Andrews. I mean, look at, you know, no one's even asked me a question about Darren Andrews. I mean, look what he did. You know, so it was just it was good to see Soso step up when he needed him. That's what you're looking for, guys. That step up when it's their turn to step up. So, all right, thanks everybody.